Consider subscribing to our channel and liking this video if you found it useful. Morning pedalboard people, I'm Spencer with West Coast Pedalboard, and today we're going to show you how to install tweed on a pedalboard. And there's going to be a bunch of other tasty content to follow after this, but today we're going to show you how to wrap this pedalboard with this here tweed. Alright, we're going to jump into this project. I'm going to show you the tools that you're going to need. You're going to need good contact adhesive or similar. Knife with sharp blades, goggles to protect your eyes just in case the glue wants to do something silly, respirator if you care about your lungs, this here object, it's just a putty knife, blunt. I'm going to show you kind of what that's for in a minute, and then a J-roller or similar if you're using contact adhesive. This is used to mash both pieces together really good. So this tweed material we sell on the website. We sell it in a few different configurations. We sell it in an 11-inch strip, which is perfect for pedal boards. So, you just have to calculate how big your board is and then order the appropriate amount. We also sell the glue on there. Works really good together, as you're going to see. And so we're just going to get started and walk you through the process of installing some tweed on a pedal board. Okay, step number one is going to be obviously building your pedal board frame. When we're doing this, what we're going to do is we're going to assemble the frame, make all of our ports and stuff inside here, wherever those are going to be at. Make sure that the frame is sanded smooth, and we're going to fill any of the little holes and stuff that naturally occur in even good plywood. So you can see we have some filler down here. We even go along the sides here where we pin nail. And so we just want to make sure everything is nice and smooth. We do our round over and then our final sanding before we're ready. So the next step after that is making sure that it's clean. So this has already been pre-wiped down really well and it's ready to go. So when you have your Tolex or tweed, you're going to have to cut your pieces. So we're going to show you how to do that right now. When you get your tweed from us, it's going to come in either an 11-inch strip, or if you need a bunch, if you have a big pedal board, it's going to come in a yard format. So regardless, what you're going to do is you're going to take the piece, and the way we do it here is we just flip the material over, kind of line this pedal board up on here. We're going to cut the edges separately, okay? So I like to give myself a little bit of room. So what's going to happen is this piece is going to fold over the top edge. This piece, we want to have enough room, so this folds over the bottom and then up into here and into this little pocket here too. All right, on the back and the front, we want to make sure that there's a little room because we're going to actually wrap this around on the back and on the front side. So once we're done with that, we're just basically going to duplicate the sides. So I have one side and here's the other side, okay? Now for the front and the rear, the process is going to be very similar. I'm going to cut a square piece for the back that's going to fit right in the sides of these grooves right here. All right, see how that works? It's right in these grooves right here. And what's going to happen is once we glue this, once the sides are on rather, we're going to glue this on top of that. It's going to wrap around, come up, and then also into this pocket right here. So you want to make sure that you cut this piece big enough to wrap all the way around one time without being too short or excessively long. And the same is going to go for the front. All right, so we're going to show you how to do it right now. All right, it's time to start. What we're going to do, we do the sides first. So what we want to make sure is that everything is clean, so we don't have any dust causing issues with the adhesive. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to get a nice good coat, nice even coat on all the wood surfaces and the joints and the cracks here, okay? And we're going to get it on the front here because we're going to actually wrap the tweed around the side and the edges. And get some on the front of this panel here too. All right. And then last step here is to get good coverage on this piece of tweed. And once we have that, we're just going to let it sit until it dries and tacks up the right way. And so we have an ideal tack right now. It's not too wet, it's not too dry. So I'm going to go ahead and line it up. I can actually use the outline from when I originally sprayed it. That's a good way to do it if you're unsure. I'm just going to go ahead and push this thing down. Okay. You can raise it back up like this. And we don't want to really be stretching the material. What we're going to do is we're just going to press it down. All right, so using your hands, I'm going to round it over here. I'm going to round it over here. All right. And then with the J roller, okay, we're going to make sure that we have contact pretty much on this front side, on this bottom side right here. And now we're going to start making some cuts. All right, so I'm going to ask to get in kind of close here. And I'm going to use this frame right here, this back frame. This is going to be the first cut. We're going to go in here and we're going to let this wood be the stop. Okay, so you're just going to go in until that stops right there. Then we're going to come down here and do the same exact thing. All right, now with your putty knife or something with a blunt kind of nose on there, we're going to use this to press the tweed or Tolex, whatever you're using, into this groove here, okay? We want this to be in that pocket real nice and clean. All right, you can use the pointed edge here and do something like that. All right, tweed is a real stiff material, so it might take a couple passes to press it in there. Then with your knife, we're gonna cut the excess off. All right, be real careful with this thing, super sharp, and we're gonna pull this out. The next cuts are going to be this bottom side. Again, we're going to use this frame as the guide, and we're going to just go straight back until we hit the inside frame, just like this. See that? Same thing over here. All right, and now we're going to start folding from here. If you didn't make sure that this bottom piece was already pressed down really well, now's the time to do that. And now we're going to take this and start folding it over. The J roller is usually too big to get into all these tight spots, so what I'm going to do is by hand, I'm going to just press this down as best as I can, and then take this and get into the groove. Okay? Somewhere else like that. And again, similar to the top, we're going to fold this down and use our putty knife to fold that into that groove real nice. All right. Using our blade, we're going to cut. Watch out again. All right. So at this stage, you should be right about here. All right, we're moving to the corners. This is probably the most time-consuming part. You just got to go slow here and do a good job right here, because everybody's going to see the corners, and you know, if you do a bad job there, then you're going to get made fun of. Anyways, what we're going to do, we're going to start over here. You can start wherever you want, but I'm going to start right here. I'm going to fold this, almost pinch it like that, so I can find out where the corner is on the outside of this frame. You can see that right there. I'm going to take my sharp knife. I'm going to line this up with that groove there. I'm going to make a slice. Okay, not too much. You don't want to go too far, all right, because that would be bad. We want to go down about that much right there. Okay, see that? I'm going to come up to the top side, do the same thing. Okay. Now we're going to flip this and work on the bottom. I'm going to do the exact same thing on the bottom here too. All right, so just be very careful when you're using this blade. Can't say that enough. All right, we're going to pinch down here, do the same thing. And now this is where we're going to start making our corners, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to fold the piece back so it's open completely like this on both sides. Okay? We're going to not stretch, but just push this flat. Okay, can you see that? Then we're going to pull this flat here, and we're going to push this kind of over the top like that. So we should have something similar to this. All stand this thing up. Do the same thing on the front side. All right, and we have this excess material. So the first thing I like to do is get this stuff out of the way. So after we have this folded over, I'm going to use the inside of this again. I'm going to go all the way to the corner, but then I'm also going to cut this excess piece off. I'm going to leave a little flare piece kind of like this so I have some room to trim, because what we're going to do is eventually we're going to cut this back so these two seams join up. All right, so I'm going to do the same thing up here. Okay. And now, what you have to do is you just kind of have to find the orientation that's most comfortable, I felt. So, if you're a left-handed person, this video might be backwards. So you just have to find like which way is most comfortable for you to slice this thing and do it so the pieces match up, all right? So there's not too much pressure here because this is the bottom. The foot usually gonna go on this piece right here. So not too much pressure on it, okay? So we're gonna work on these bottom corners here. And I found that you just have to get the best kind of angle, whatever that angle is for you, if you're a lefty or a righty. However is the most comfortable, that's how you want to do it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that this piece is trimmed right up to that corner there so I can see where I'm going. All right, and just go slow with this. All right, you can peel it up and you can look. That's the beauty of the contact adhesive, is you can just go slow and it's going to be all right. So I'm pulling it up kind of as I go. You can see that it's going to meet up real nicely with the corner. All right, you just want to be real careful with the blade. Again, this thing is super sharp. You don't want to slice off your hand. So with the blunt edge, I can go ahead and push this down, or I can use this, push that down, and I can also use this right here to push it down. All right, so this part here, the feet are going to typically go here on ours at least, so that's going to all be covered up. We're going to move to the top now. This, we're going to have to be a little bit more careful up here because this is what everybody's going to see. All right, so again, I'm going to trim this excess off here. Okay, I'm going to go real careful up here at the top. All right, I'm going to peel this back a little bit, and with the knife, we're just going to go real slow, finding our little area here. All right, cut that. There we go. With the blunt edge, I'm going to just go ahead and smash that in. And with any luck, your corner should look kind of like this right here. All right, so we're going to show you again one more time this side here. We're going to fast motion through this other side over here since they're exactly the same. So I'm going to show you one more corner because that's kind of the hardest stuff. So for me, I'm going to turn this thing around like this because I'm a righty. All right, I want to get my knife down in that corner. I'm following the groove. Just go real slow. All right, and I'm going to cut this off right there. I'm going to use this to mash that down real good. All right, so the last thing that we're going to do here is we're going to trim these tail pieces, I guess. All right, so how I'm going to do it is I'm going to line the cut up with this inside groove right here. Okay, so the pieces that we're about to install, the front and the back pieces, I want them to cover this piece here and this piece here, and actually it'll help hold it down. All right, so with my knife, I'm lined up here. I'm going to make a cut, start pulling this thing back. I'm going to bring this up. You can use like a square if you want, but we're just going to make a score down there. And then on the bottom here, I usually like to go like about this and leave a little piece like that. So when this back piece actually wraps over this, it's going to hold that down too, real nice. All right, so I'm going to do that to the front here real quick. And the next thing we're going to show you is how to install the front and the back. These are the easiest parts, all right? We're done with the sides, and we're on the home stretch. We're going to do the back and the front, and it's really a pretty easy process. You know, hopefully you have your materials already cut out. If not, what you're going to do is you're going to measure from here to here, these two inside pieces. All right, so the material is going to basically drop in here, and you want to cut it deep enough or long enough that it wraps all the way around and comes back up into this seam here. So the goal is to have a piece that wraps into here from the top, and then inside here it's going to wrap into there also. All right, so just make sure you cut your piece long enough for that, and you should be good. All right, so what we like to do here, if you've never used spray glue or anything like that before, suggest probably getting like a little masking tape and taping this off, because we have to glue all these areas here. All right, luckily these spray guns are pretty accurate, and we've done it a bunch of times, so I'm not going to do that. But you can use a little piece of cardboard or whatever to block all that stuff off. All right, so here we go. Okay, again, we're going to get all the surfaces, make sure that everything is real good. All right, the material is actually going to wrap over to this piece here, so we do want to cover that. All right, so see how I got that? All right, I'm going to turn it around. When we get to the front side of this, we're going to have to make a little kind of mask for this tweed here. So what's going to end up happening is the tweed that we're going to install, it's going to wrap over, but it's not going to wrap over this whole part. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this inside border kind of as the guide for this. All right, so kind of watch how this works. I'm going to line this up, and I'm going to spray glue just on this part right here that's going to get covered with the other tweed. All right, so you can see kind of, if you look closely there, you can see the line. All right, so because with the contact adhesive or any type of glue, really, the material has to get covered wherever it's going to be covering. So what we're going to do, we're going to come over here, do the same thing. Okay. So I got everything covered here really nice. We're going to go ahead and cover the rest of this tweed piece, let it dry, and we'll be right back. Show you how to finish this piece up. So everything's dry and ready to get put together. So what I'm going to do is bring this board kind of over to the edge of the table here, just so it's hanging off a little tiny bit. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this piece and I'm going to tack one side down, because this is going to be pretty sticky here. All right, I'm going to fasten it down, stretch it over, pull it over rather, and I'm going to start by just tucking this piece down into the groove here. All right, I'm going to get my little putty knife. Once we have this tucked in here, I'm going to just go ahead and gently kind of pull down on this front here. What we're going to try to do is just evenly get this to fold down. All right. Now this is a good spot for our J-roller. You can use this to work out any little bumps or creases or anything like that. If you have any little overspray, like right here, you can get in with your finger and usually just pull that right off. See, like that. Once we get it from here, we're going to pull down again. Working the material. Using our roller yet again. Super handy thing. Okay, we're going to flip it over down like this with our knife. We're going to use this inside again as the guide, and we're just going to cut this right along the inside. So you want to make sure that you don't slice the tweed that you've already installed. All right, so you can use your finger here to hold this top, and this is where a sharp knife blade is really handy. All right, so we're going to do it over there. We're going to come over here to this side and do the same exact thing. All right, so just make sure that you don't dig in and start slicing that piece over there. All right, so now we're going to just continue wrapping around, pushing down with your fingers here. And I'm going to take the putty knife and get these groove, get down in there real good. Working it. Okay. Up here, I'm going to go ahead and press it down. Use my knife one last time here and get it down into the groove. Then cut the excess off and we'll be almost finished. Last thing to do is cut the tails off. Right down here. Here's 1, 2, and it's time to start the front. That concludes the video for today. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments section below. We'll get those answered. And make sure to check out the next upcoming videos. We're going to show you how to color this using some of the products here, some of the dye from Luthier Mercantile in Windsor, California, and some of the Zinsser shellac, and using this HVLP rig. Thanks for watching, guys.